Hey, good morning. It's 9:33 a.m. It is January 22nd, Monday morning. Some of you guys are at work. I hope you guys all get through this week and hope you guys enjoy yourself. Find ways to enjoy your situations as much as you possibly can. So I did have an astral projection experience um, last night. I would actually say it happened more like within the hours of, um, you know, around 4:30 in the morning, and it was really cool. I wanted to have it extended, but like I said, I don't really have a lot of control over what happens when I do experience those things, so it was pretty limited. I realized I was outside of my body, so I decided to head downstairs, and kind of hoover a little bit, which I did. And then I kept thinking, as I was thinking, all the other things I want to do while I was in this state, I returned to my body. So unfortunately, it wasn't anything, major, but I guess it was kind of cool because I do recall saying, I think it was a few days ago on one of my videos that I do listen to a lot of the music on like YouTube suggesting assisting in astral projection. And I said, I haven't had any experiences. And so I just, in some way, I was just kind of giving up on it. Not giving up on it, but realizing that this is something I don't have any control over. And I'm just kind of taking it easy on that. Like, I'm not obsessed with it, but I do still listen to the music. So last night I picked out a track that obviously must have helped. I'm going to give it some credit. So it's obviously in my history, my history in YouTube. So I will save that and see if I can do it again. But like I said, whatever happens, happens. And I'm just grateful for that, but it's a start. I think when it comes to the principles of manifesting, that's one of the key things is to just let it go. You let your intentions be known, release it, and then, once you relax, it will just go ahead and come your way. So I'm very grateful that I had my experience. I will say astral projection is something that I enjoy. I love being in that state. Maybe because it has a lot to do with not having to do with anything that relates to the earth. I'm not happy in in the state of how things are on this planet, and I can't change it. I certainly notice the things that are wrong, but I'm not in a position to change it, and I'm not somebody who's into politics. So my main focus is things that relate to things that are not relating to everyday, mundane life, right? And so I think this is one of the reasons why I do have support from people that are like on the other side of the spectrum. Like I'm not going to mention names, but there's some of these people who support me. I'm really surprised that they do because they are so different than me, and some of them have been known to be, kind of one-sided on certain issues. So I think this is one of the reasons why I get their support is because they know that Maria's not here to stir up trouble here on the earth. Maria's just seriously trying to deal her little spiritual shit, and this is really all I care about. Anything else, I don't really care about. I'm not interested in intertwining with politics. I'm not interested in trying to promote, anything. I mean, I do talk about my spirituality, and I'm interested in talking and having other people share my content with people who have these interests in things like, they have questions and they want to maybe enhance their spiritual life a little bit. But as far as me like trying to take on some sort of political stage and stuff like that, they know that I'm not a threat, which is good. Anyway, so yeah, I'm really happy about the astral experience. The next thing that I wanted to say was, I was talking about people do realize that I've carried on my British traits. Like I said, I don't have what do you call it, biological British traits. But when a person moves from one country to another, they assimilate to a certain degree, okay? They might still practice their religion, but they still, like, for example, maybe somebody might come from the East, okay? Where women might wear clothes like maybe a sari or something like that, okay? And maybe when they come here, they might start wearing jeans and stuff like that. This is the stuff that people do, sometimes people stay in their clothing of origin, okay? But some people do start, bringing a little bit, changing a little bit, okay? So in my case, where I was 7 years old, being brought to England and being around, this British environment, that obviously, and apparently I died around 18 years old. So for that 11-year period of time, and those are the impressionable years. This is when you start really formulating your personality, start understanding your likes and stuff. I mean, you change as you get older, but this is starting the foundation of how people become who they are, right? So here I am in England, and I'm, becoming kind of British in a way, I mean? Not British, like born British with like, Anglo-Saxon blood in my veins, but I'm basically saying British as far as it's become a part of my lifestyle. It becomes a part of who you are. So, I was thinking back in, my days of growing up and how people, kind of, they poke fun of that. And I've mentioned this before about, how people, some people just like what they like, you know what I mean? You can't help it if it appeals to you, but some people are never really in an environment where they can kind of like listen to different things or try different things or whatever. But I think a lot of it can be traced back to your past life. I mean, there's an explanation for everything, you know what I mean? And really, when you kind of like belittle the preferences of other people, it's kind of petty, really. It's really petty. But that explains a lot of who I am. Also, I know that there were arguments when I first realized the whole experiment thing, and there was like this, I came to understand that there was this Joseph Mengele thing going on. And of course, like, I understand that I do believe that these groups were separate in the beginning, okay? Like, I know that I was targeted by, since childhood by, this particular group. I'm not going to go into that. But then we have these celebrities, and I do understand, because of the connection that I have relating to my birth, that this is probably how I got in connection with these other people, and that makes sense, okay? So, it's just like, I really don't want anyone arguing over this issue. I understand, like, that it's, I understand how strange it is, and how, like, to me, when I'm pointing out the serious nature of it, because, the reason why I dealt with the bullying, the reason why I dealt with the harassment is because obviously people were against who I was, and there was really nothing I can do about it. It was a very unfair fight, and so this is one of the reasons why I had to, when I first came to that realization, I had to put myself, like, I've had to feel distant. I had to feel like I needed to, put my guards up, because that is a very ugly thing. Okay, that is a wicked thing. That is something that nobody, nobody wants to get involved in. Okay, like, when I realized that, it was like, okay, then who would condone something like that? Who wants to be on the side of that? Why? And I'm trying to figure out why people were taking an interest in me. Why is it only because this is some sort of, like, Nazi plan or something like that? And so, of course, I mean, that's a natural reaction. I don't think anybody would not think that. That's the first thing that comes to your mind. Like, what in the fucking world is this shit? And who can I trust? Obviously, I was set up in a family that I couldn't trust. You know what I mean? And so you have to understand, from my point of view, why that would make me feel that way. Because I've never, and I hate saying this, I sound like a broken record, but I really haven't been around people that were good. I've always been around people that were either brainwashed, or people just like straight out Nazis themselves, or whatever. You know what I mean? So, so you have to understand. I do understand that these groups are kind of connected, but they're kind of separate at the same time. And, I made it very clear that I'm not, holding any grudges against my celebrity tribe or anything like that. But, the whole issue, the whole origins and stuff like that is very strange. So, no, really, it's time to really stop the finger pointing, it really doesn't need to happen anymore. So, anyway, the person that I was thinking of that I wanted to reconnect to, she was my first little playmate starting off in kindergarten. Yeah, I definitely do want to talk to her, but I do want to talk to her when things are getting a little bit better. Like right now, like I said, I'm not somebody who wants to sit here and tell my side of how I'm doing, because isn't that the first question that people ask when you haven't seen somebody in a long time? How's it going? And it's like, well, um, I sit around, my life has been stunted, and I'm sure she's pretty much well aware of it anyway. This was like one of those things where you're dealing with, you're dealing with targeting, everybody's involved in it. You know what I mean? And so you have to handle like conversations in a kind of, what do you call it? Uh, yeah, very careful way, okay? Because, it's like I understand how these things work. I understand how gang stalking works. I understand how invasive it is. I understand who gets involved in it. And because it's set up to where you literally have no place to go, right? So everybody would be involved in that. Would be people that you knew in kindergarten. It would be people, your neighbors. It would be anyone that you can possibly remember. So and you don't want to get. It's not about getting into arguments or like acting like um, I don't even want to go into that. You know what I mean? But one thing I would be very careful about when you emerge from a targeting situation is be careful about people who want to try to gaslight you, because some people will try to do that. They will try to convince you that there's a different reality when the whole fact that the reality or the covert nature of the program is the very thing that hurts you the most. And so, don't try to get into conversations with people that number one, they can never come up and tell you everything, because they do have an obligation to keep their shit secret. And so it becomes a nightmare. And this is one of the reasons why people feel like they want to just move on and find, a different group of friends. And unfortunately, somehow or another, these people are connected to you. And it's sad because, it taints a a relationship. It causes it's like a feeling of um, of kind of a feeling of betrayal a little bit. You know what I mean? Because like I said, they know that this very issue is the thing that makes you suffer, but they have no right, they have no ability to tell you that. But at the same time, don't let them gaslight you. Don't let them try to flip the reality like, oh, what you're saying isn't true, blah 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 blah. It's true. You know what I mean? And so just avoid those conversations altogether, and you should get through it just fine. But also just remember, make sure that you protect your feelings, because you don't want to. You can obviously see that you can't really count on too many people to protect you. You know what I mean? So you're always going to feel like you're always kind of like still by yourself. It just has to be that way. So be strong. Anyway, yeah, but I do want to reconnect with her. I do want to talk to her, and see how she's been doing. You know what I mean? I'm pretty damn sure she's doing a hell of a lot better than me right now. But, right now, my interactions are just kind of like I said, I don't like to spread negativity. I don't have a lot of great things to say. Most of the situations that I deal with are of great frustration, because, like I said, I can't tell you how fast I want to get away from the shit that unfolded in front of me. Like, my soul tribe is always going to be my soul tribe, but what it is like, I want to get away from where this happened, and it happened here in Bakersfield. And I do say that, I like Bakersfield. I like the way it's laid out. It does have an interesting history to it. I mean, I've come to really like this place, but at the same time, it's like, there was just the trauma started here. I mean, it's been going on for a long time, even when I wasn't living in Bakersfield. But I came to the realization that my family was fucked up when I was living in Bakersfield. I dealt with the majority of my workplace targeting in the city of Bakersfield. And so it just, it just got a little bit too much for me. So it's like, I want to move on from that. and it's a part of what I need in order for me to mentally heal. You know what I mean? Because it's just too much for me. Anyway, but yeah, I do want to follow up with her. Also, yeah, people do realize, and like I said, I want to really thank people who have been supporting me about, I do understand that this competition that was created, and I would have never willingly participated in any conversation that would pit me against anybody, especially somebody that is supposed to be my blood relation, okay? Putting me against my twin, okay? I don't know this twin personally. I have issues with the whole thing, and I'm not comfortable with the fact that she would actually participate in something like that. So I just want to kind of leave it at that. But you know, I, it's supposed to put, like, as if me winning, quote unquote, winning a competition from someone that you're supposed. See, to me, when I think of families, they're supposed to be warm. They're supposed to be. I don't. I would not advise competition in any family, because what you seek in a family is you seek harmony. Okay, but everything is inverted. Like, in this like little experiment. It is a wicked experiment. I mean, it's wrong, and I would have never done that. And even though some people might look at me as the winner of this competition, I am no way taking any pride in that, because it's sick from the very beginning. You know what I mean? And I really think that that was something that was just so inhumane, and that I have absolutely no respect for. You know what I mean? And we can know why, because this was a creation of someone like Joseph Mengele, and it's very twisted. Also, I was thinking about the issues. I know that when I was targeted in the workplace, I had this big issue about my hair. Okay, obviously I'm dealing with targeting from people who are Nazis, or Nazi influencers, or Nazi supporters, or Nazi sympathizers, or people who don't get the fact that black people have different hair than white people. So I've been wearing wigs, I would say, like half wigs. Okay, I've experimented with all kinds of wigs. Okay, I have, because I have problems with my hair. And I think that if I was someone who was raised, because there's a lot of black families that they just do hair. Like, you go to their house and they're working on somebody's hair. You know what I mean? They're just into, like, they're very well trained in how to take care of their. I was not well trained on how to take care of my hair. I know that sounds very strange, other than, of course, washing and conditioning it. And when I was younger, I don't like my hair. I will just come right out and tell you, I don't like my hair. It's not a matter of insecurity. It's just that it's a matter of it being a fucking nightmare. Okay, I have always had bushy hair, but one thing I will say about my hair is that it was always thick. I had very thick hair when I was growing up. Okay, so when I would get my hair, done, and it was like pressed and everything, I would have a pretty nice looking mane of hair. But as I got older, yeah, I would think that in the eighth grade, I was tired of the hours that it took to get that nice looking hair. And so I started, because I will tell you, what would happen is you wash your hair, you dry your hair, okay, you wash and condition it, and then I would have to wait for it to dry, okay, air dry, because because just going straight into blow drying hair, or trying to get adding heat to hair when it's wet, is going to cause it to tear out. Okay, so this is before I started using relaxers. Okay, so I would have to wait, and then once my hair was done, my mom would, or the beautician. The beautician got it done fast. When my mom was doing my hair, it was an all-day fucking process. Mind you, it was pretty long process at the beauty shop when I was a kid too. I mean, black hair, if you don't know how to work with it, it's gonna be a problem. So, unless, of course, like I said, you can work with it. So when I was in eighth grade, I kept thinking, I really am tired of this, like, ritual, this all day fucking ritual of doing my hair. So I started working and using relaxers. And since that time, I've been relaxing my hair for many, 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 many years. Now, I've had conflicts with this issue of relaxing hair, because the chemicals is what is damaging my hair. This is one of the reasons why I struggle with my hair, is because of the chemicals in the relaxer, and I'm well aware of it. But I feel at this point I don't really have any options because I don't know what to fucking do with my hair. And I will say that the texture of my hair has even changed, and it's very strange. Like in some spots, there is just no working with that side of my hair. Like it's a fucking nightmare. You know what I mean? Like I will put like serums on it when I go and straighten it. And just because you put a relaxer on it does not mean it's going to be perfectly straight. You still have to like, blow dry it and whatever and straighten it with a, what do you call it? It just makes it easier. But, there's just one side of my hair where like I'll put like, what do you call it? Like a serum on it that's supposed to prevent it from like getting frizzy when you go outside. So one side works just fine. And this one patch on my hair, it just like fuck it, it starts getting curly again. You know what I mean? So I don't like messing with my hair. So I'm at home. I don't really care so much about my hair. I do. I mean, somebody who likes clothes wants to have a nice hairstyle. I mean, that makes sense because you want to be like, you know, um, it's just order, okay? Like if you're not gonna sit here like put on a nice outfit and wear a hairstyle that's just like a fucking nightmare, right? So, but on like my downtime, if I'm not working or I don't have anywhere to go, that I feel that I need to be dressed accordingly, and that's my standard. It's not. I don't try to put that standard on anyone else. This is my standard. This is what I believe. I believe that you should be dressed accordingly. Like if you go to court, you dress appropriate for court. You don't show up in sandals and t-shirts. As a matter of fact, like the last time I went to the court, there was a sign that said that. You know what I mean? I'm old from the old school. Okay, I believe in that sort of stuff. Um, I have decided to stop relaxing my hair. Okay, that no, and some people say, oh, that means you're going to grow an afro. I don't like afros. Okay, and just because that's my natural hair does not mean that I should have to be forced to deal with an afro. I don't want to wear an afro. Now I've seen some girls that look really nice in afros. Okay, because they have a different texture of hair. Okay, and their hair, their curl pattern might be a little bit looser, and it's a little bit easier to work with. I don't fucking like my hair. I fucking straight up do not like my hair, period. Except for like, I will say that, the front of it's fine, but the back of it is a goddamn nightmare. So I usually just wear like little ponytails. Just recently I did cut the back of it, because when my hair does grow out, it grows out really jaggedy. Like it's like some parts in the back grow longer than the other, and it just looks bad. And after being relaxed for so many years, it just doesn't. I just don't feel like it makes any sense. So I just put it into ponytails when I'm in the house, or when I go out, I usually just wear hats. Okay, but there's times where I do like to wear wigs. Okay, half wigs. Okay, because I usually do use like the top of my hair is what I will do, is just kind of like put it, a flat iron it, and then just kind of like either put it in rollers the night before, or I will, use a curling iron to kind of work my way to make it resemble the pattern of the half, like the hair extensions or whatever. My preference of hairstyle is I did like the braids. Okay, I know when I first got braids the first time, people were talking about it in my workplace. It was like a big topic of conversation. But the reason why I prefer braids is because when you go swimming or you wash your hair, I don't have to deal with blow drying. I don't have to deal with any of that. I can literally just wash my hair and go. And yeah, the shampoo penetrates through the braids and everything, and it just, to me, it works. Okay, but unfortunately, braids are only good in your hair for anywhere from like 6 weeks. 2 months at the most, okay? And then you have to take them out. And it's not something that you should do consistently, because I believe the tension of the braids is not necessarily a good thing to have all the time. So, I choose to alternate. And it's unfortunate that I felt like, the bullying that was going on at work about my hair was not, number one, I felt like it was intrusive. It's like I shouldn't have to explain why I do that. And I think the reason why is because, when you're somebody who is single and you don't really take a whole lot of interest, because I wasn't interested in dating, because To me, I was running for my life. I felt as though I need to protect myself against abusive people. Okay. So they think, well, if that's not your thing, why are you doing this, 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 and this? Why do you wear nice clothes? Because I fucking love clothes. Women can like things outside of having an interest of men. And see, this is another thing. It's a very, I don't want to say it's abusive. What kind of is, especially when they take the measures that they do to try to like modify your behavior and stuff. It has nothing to do with that. It's almost like saying that women have no purpose to do anything other than make a man happy. We have our own desires, okay? Has nothing to do with that. You know what I mean? And then when I felt like I was getting pressured about my hair, it's like, okay, well, you know, white people talking about black people's hair is a no-no. It just is, okay? Obviously, there's a difference between our hair. When we wear, some black people have worn their hair natural, like, you know, the froze and stuff like that to work. That becomes an issue because they start accusing you of being a political person. Are you trying to be political? You know what I mean? I remember people thinking I was trying to be political when I decided to wear braids. It has nothing to do with that. A lot of it has to do with our convenience, okay? We have to maintain our hair. We have to be groomed just like everybody else, okay? So it's like, well, what's the easiest way to do that? Either way, what we do with our hair is always going to be an issue. Always, okay? So back off the hair issue. You know, just try to understand. It's you just don't go there. That's like, you know, I wouldn't ask a brunette woman why she chooses to be blonde, and God knows there's a shitload of those women, okay, who choose to do something different with their hair. God gave them brown hair, you know, so they should just be happy with their blonde, with their brown hair. It's not my right to tell them that. If they choose to lighten their hair, that's what they choose to do, and it's not for me to ask that question. Anyway, I think I'm done with these readings and these little opinions and thoughts that I'm having. So I think I'm going to wrap up this video. I have not been able to get out to the church bells. You know, it is raining today, by the way, and it's actually nice to have it rain sometimes. But you know, I am a sunny day girl. You know, Maria likes her sunny days. But sometimes you just have to deal with the rain. So today I'm okay with it. I'm trying to work on. I'm working on content. And I'm also allowing myself to kind of veer off into working on my knitting. I got a knitting project going on, and I also was thinking about doing some painting a little bit too. But you know, I know that I'm dealing with some sluggish issues right now because I really want to get on with my content, and I'm working on 2 videos at the same time. And it is a matter of morale. You know, I'm trying to keep myself motivated as I'm working through these issues. So anyway, I think that's all I really wanted to say. I'm going to wrap this video up. I might be back with another video today, and I might not. We'll see how it goes. You know, today's kind of a little bit of an adventure inside my house. Take care.